Hi there, this is Love Johar. Thank you so much for doing this video and thank you so much for watching this channel. We'll discuss in this video about clause 4.1, very important clause from ISO 27001 perspective. Who is responsible for implementation? What are the requirements of clause 4.1? How to implement the clause 4.1? What is the purpose of clause 4.1? What are the internal issues which are referenced in clause 4.1? What are the external issues which are referenced in clause 4.1? A very important video for anybody who is trying to implement ISO 27001 for the first time, and especially for anybody who is consulting in the projects. Please watch this video very carefully, and we'll cover a lot of things which are related to the ISO 27001 clause 4.1 implementation. Why is clause 4.1 important? Let us try to understand the importance of clause 4.1 first, because this is the first clause of ISO 27001, right? Understanding the organization and its context. This is the first clause, right? Now, why is it important? We need to understand it because, see, until and unless you understand the importance of something, you will not be able to implement it, right? So, basically, it talks about making sure that we incorporate all the internal and external issues which are related to the organization, right? So, why is it important that we need to inculcate and incorporate all the internal and external issues which are related to the organization? Okay, we need to understand the organization and its context basically, so that once we do that, once we understand what are the internal and external factors, the issues that could impact the organization, accordingly we can design our ISMS. That's the whole perspective of ISO 27001 clause 4.1. Okay, and internal and external issues is just another way of saying risks, right? So the clause is basically asking you to consider and record what all internal and external risks are there to your information security management system. What could stop your ISMS from being able to achieve its intended outcomes? What are the business objectives that you are trying to achieve, and what can come in the way of doing that, right? That is what ISO 27001 clause 4.1 talks about. Okay, so by understanding the internal and external issues, if you have a list of them, if you have identified them, you can basically plan for them proactively. You can mitigate them, you can manage them as well. And as a result, definitely at the end of the day, once you do that, definitely it will increase the effectiveness and efficiency of your ISMS and help you meet the business objectives. Okay. So definitely you will get improved security, reduce risk, and improved compliance, because once you identify the risks which are associated, definitely it will help you in order to make sure that you have improved ISMS in place, right? Senior management is responsible for ensuring that clause 4.1 is implemented and maintained, and you have to basically determine what are the internal issues and external issues that you face as an organization. Okay, so you need to make sure you document this information so that if somebody from the auditing team asks you, you can actually show them. Okay. So step-by-step implementation guide to basically comply with ISO 27001 clause 4.1 is, you need to write a context of the organization document, and you need to identify and record your internal issues. We'll also show you examples of internal issues and internal issues so that you can get a reference from this video, and it will help you to draw your own as well. And basically that's about it. Purpose is to make sure that you have all the external and internal issues identified, which are basically the risk to your ISMS, and you are managing them effectively, right? So what are the internal issues now? Let's come to the actual main points. Internal issues are basically issues that could impact the effectiveness of your ISMS within the organization, from within the organization, which are risks basically, which are internal to your organization. Okay, so that you can control over it. These are some of the risks, these are some of the issues which you can actually control over, right? So when considering internal issues, for example, you have governance, organizational structure, roles and responsibilities. If you have not defined these things, it will become a internal issue. If you have not defined policies, objectives and strategies clearly, again it will become a internal issue, right? And similarly, if you do not have enough resources and knowledge to implement ISMS, it will become again internal issue. And organizational structure, if not proper, again it will become an internal issue. And if you do not have the infrastructure in place, information systems, information flows, again it could become a internal issue. So all these are forms and types of internal issues. Examples again, let us see in more details. You need to know the roles, accountability, and hierarchy in the organization. It will basically help define where to position the ISMS. Okay, where does information security fit into a company? Roles and responsibility of top management needs to be defined. Okay, organizational drivers needs to be there. Okay, what are the business vision, mission, values need to be clearly defined. Otherwise, it will be very difficult to align information security objectives with the business objectives. Okay, the way the organization does things. Okay, you need to make sure that you have processes in place and they are defined as well. Available resources as well. You need to make sure that you have available resources so that you can actually provision them for different implementations. 27001, 301, right? Contractual relationships, you must have documented contractual relationships in place, otherwise it will become an issue, right? So all this comes under a part of the internal issues of the organization, right? So people, time, organization structure, technologies, availability of reliable, qualified, and competent workforce, company objectives, all these are internal issues. Externally, when we talk about what are the external issues can influence, but again in this case you do not have any control over these external issues, right? You can only list them down and then you can try to understand how you can control them, right? Because you can't control them directly, you need to make sure how you can avoid them basically. So market and customer trends, perception and values of external interested parties, applicable laws and regulations, political and economic conditions, technological trends and innovations. Okay, basically what you consider as external issues are social and cultural, political issues, legal, regulatory, financial, technological, economical, natural and competitive environment. Okay, so all these are external issues. Basically they can impact your business objectives and relationships and values of external key stakeholders as well, right? External issues in the context of ISO 27001 are issues that could impact the effective operation of the ISMS in the company, right? These are the things that are external to your organization that on the most part you have no real control over, right? So examples of external issues, market and customer trends. Okay, for example, cloud adoption suddenly changed the entire market trend. Perceptions and values of external interested parties. Okay, relationship with parties can change over time. Applicable laws and regulations, a new law came in and it will change a lot of things in the organization, right? You can't do anything about that, but you will have to implement it, right? Political and economical conditions, elections, third parties changes, will be there. Public policy changes are there. Technological trends and innovations, nowadays AI is coming, which is impacting a lot of processes and workflows in many organizations, right? So these are external issues that you need to be cautious of. Again, climate, technology advances, competition, legislation changes, relationship with external stakeholders. So basically you need to identify external issues, internal issues, and document them in a context of the organization document so that you can basically show the auditors that this is what you have done. Okay, and this is mainly what the auditors will check actually. Okay, so that it you by doing this you actually identify what all risks are associated with the internal and external issues of the organization. Okay, and mainly two common mistakes people do, which is that they have either no reference or no evidence of actually that something happened. Like they do not have a record of maintaining these internal and external issues in a documented form. So do not do that, you have this in a documented format. Okay, and once you do that, please make sure that if there is any identified risk which is there, be it a regulatory issue or something else which you have not really confirmed with at the moment, so make sure you map it with the risk register and give it a planned date or something so that you can actually action that item later on, right? These are the two important things that you need to be conscious about. And anything else, any comments, any feedback on this video, feel free to share in the comment section. And if you have any follow-up questions as well, feel free to ask me in the comment section. And if you want to add on how you are implementing ISO 27001 clause 4.1 in your organization also, please feel free to add in the comment section. Thank you so much for watching. Take care. Bye bye.